G'day guys and welcome to a quick preview of the Melbourne Cup for this year. I know I've done a bit of a written preview as well, but some people are visual, some people are audio, some people like to sit down and have a read. So I thought I'd record this quickly as well, point out a few replays and try and get through it as quickly as possible. This year's race, from my point of view, looks like a bit of an international dominated affair. I think the locals are really, no one's really set up to run a strong 2 mile. Our sort of stars are going to peak out at that 2,400 metre range in Hartnell and Jamaica. I don't think he hasn't even got to 2,400 this preparation, and he looks like he's going to struggle to maintain, that dynamic sprint that he has over the mile and 2,000 metre mark at that 3,200 metres. If he found a way to sort of suck up into the race and do his thing like he did earlier in the weight for age races, he's definitely a contender, but I just find it really hard to see that he's going to do that here, and I'm against him. Jamaica beat a moderate field in the Corfield Cup. She's obviously going very well. Draws an inside gate, which is probably what she needed to have a chance. If they put her to sleep back on the fence, she might get through and run a race. I can't see her winning, but running a place would be a great effort, or in the first half a dozen. I think the dominant forms from the UK horses on Bondo Beach, Wicklow Brave, Heartbreak City, then a step behind to horses like Curran Morotic and Secret Number is a query runner, but again on that next level. Heartbreak City, they're all thereabouts. They've got really strong staying form. They've got the turn of foot. These Europeans know what sort of horses need to come out, and you can see from the second grade horses in Oceanographer, Grey Lion, Q. Q's not quite as much a second liner as the others. He's more closer to the top tier. That when they come here, they're dominating races like the Geelong Cup, and then come out and won the Lexus yesterday. I think those horses are not quite up to the others, the ones that I'm more keen on in the likes of Bondi Beach, Heartbreak City, and Wicklow Brave. And if they show up and they're thriving as well as the others obviously are, they're the ones to beat for mine. So going through it quickly, the site that best shows these without me having to go all through them is justHorseRacing.com.au. They've got a great a look at the international horses with some replays here. So the first horse to look at's Big Orange. He's come in here with 2 wins in a row, 2,400 last start, 3,200, which is probably the most interesting. He's controlled the speed.
Subscribe to Racing UK on YouTube for more Group 1 races.
He came out here last year and ran a solid 5th. So we know what to expect. He's in front on the rail here. Terrible angle. But we'll see here that he doesn't get away from them quickly. He just whacks away, and he's too strong at the end of a whacking 3,200 metres. Wicklow Brave is here behind him, but he set a really slow tempo here and controlled it to suit his own sort of style. Importantly, this is Wicklow Brave, Big Orange. So if I'm entertaining Wicklow Brave, it'd be silly to me to say that I'm not entertaining Big Orange as a chance. I just think that the way that race set up won't come here, and Wicklow Brave's possibly gone on from that, whereas Big Orange hasn't had a run since then, which is a bit of a problem as well. Wicklow Brave's gone on to run well and beat highly regarded Order of St George, who came out and ran a placing in the Arc after that. It's probably the most prestigious 2,400 metre race on the planet. So obviously strong form. What we'll see, I'll show that Wicklow Brave, that this was his win in the Irish St Ledger 4-horse race. He controlled the tempo as well and kicked on just like Big Orange did there. So he was probably holding him on the line, even though Order of St George looked like he was going to beat him in that huge margin back to 3rd and 4th, which included Trip to Paris, which has run a place in this race, well, ran third or fourth last year. I'm sorry, a bit punch drunk from races the last few days. That form's good for this, and that's the main thing. You know, he's coming here with a run on September 11. He's in form. He's settled in well at Werribee, and everything is in line for him. He's drawn a terrible gate. Not too worried about that in this race. He's got Frankie Dettori to overcome that, and I'm not really too worried as long as he's not 4 or 5 wide, no cover. As long as he's somewhere with a bit of cover, I think he'll be in the finish here. He's won over 3,400 metres. There's no downside to Wicklow Brave. Next runner's Heartbreak City, who's interesting here is there's the E-Ball winner in August.
Heartbreak City is joining in the star sleeves.
Interesting here, he's coming through. He's had a pretty cosy run here, a little bit further back in the field. The difference between him and Big Orange is you see that he puts a gap in them and hits the line very strongly, sort of building momentum. So he's got to turn a foot, even though that's an easier race probably than Big Orange won. But he's got to turn a foot, and then he went to a hurdle race to start previous to that, and similarly got held up and burst through. If you want to find these replays, this site obviously shows it. It's good that you can go to tab.com.au, you log into your account and see them. They're just a bit hard to bring up in this occasion. Going back to the form, the next horse that is interesting is Bondo Beach. No real replays to show of any warrant for its recent form, because I really think that they've been playing games with this horse. He came out here at his 6th start last year and got caught wide, and just a complete forgive, even though he's beaten 6.5 in that race. That was just really a nothing race last year. You couldn't sit wide there. The pace was slow. It was just an ugly race. He went back to Europe, won a 2500 listed in a Group 3 over 28. Only 8 and 3 runners in those races, so again, totally different circumstances, carrying 60 kilos. Then dropped back to the 2400 and basically, from my opinion, was given 2 barrier trials. I don't think they wanted any penalties weight-wise, and they had him, sort of where they wanted him ratings-wise to get him, make sure he was in the race, and everything was fine. And then they've given him 2 quiet runs over the shorter trip. I really think that he's going to thrive out to this distance. He's also beaten Order St George in the past as an early, 3rd start in a race. All the quality in the world, and I'm sure this horse was bought for one reason and has been set for this race for the entire period. I think last year was just a grounding for him, and this year's the year that they think that they can win with him. Ryan Moore's here. He's just won the Tenno show in Japan today on Maurice. He's a big-time jockey that rides big races all over the world. That's all he does. So Aidan O'Brien's the trainer, Lloyd Williams the owner. That doesn't become more powerful. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't start very close to favourite come race time. He's around $10, $11 mark now. They bet $14, $15 early in the week, and I think he'll sort of start around this $6, $7 mark. I think he'll be the best back runner in the race and the hardest to beat. Down the page, we'll sort of look at this Corfield Cup.
So Tally moved in,
and the runners that are
and they're ready
engaged.
For the Newton,
my problem with this is that I don't think this form is the form. I think we watch here, Scottish doesn't go in the race. Real Love's not coming into the race. The first horse is the winner, Jamaica, who's had a good run in transit, over-raced a little bit. The other runners of note back here is Exospheric and Al Moonquist back on the fence.
Outside of Tally now pulling. Next is Jamaica just wanting to get her head up, and Sir Isaac Newton, who's been pulling, is allowed to go around the outside by Colm O'Donoghue. They're followed then by Articus trying to track him home. Behind those horses, Exospheric picking up some ground.
Exospheric comes on the outside here. Jamaica's got to the outside. Al Moonquist held up on the inside.
And back behind them, Sacred Master. So they run to the home turn in the cup now. The outside of these two
Here with the turn. Here we are here. Jamaica coming through wide. Exospheric got to the outside without issues. Al Moonquist back here held up.
And Scottish the leader. Jamaica coming out after him at the 200. And Hall sends the favourite to the lead.
Al Moonquist now getting to the outside. Jamaica and Exospheric doing their best. thing I'm looking at here is that this horse is dropping out Scottish. She's done all the work in the world. She's maintaining this margin. Now Moonquith closing. This is, sorry, the other runner in the race in Our Ivanhoe getting home late. But again, a little bit flat on the line for mine. This sort of race, you're looking for a horse who's either had a hard run sticking on well or is really savaging the line. Nothing's really hitting the line better than Jamaica. The time's pretty average. They're slowing down late. A lot of these horses look tight over the 2400. The horse that probably looks like he's looking for further and is a winner over 2 mile is Our Moonquith, but the rest are sort of holding their positions with Scottish dropping out. For me, it's not the form race, but the winner is going well, and it's hard to completely knock her because she is untested. So it's, it's hard to go one way or the other. Hartnell's obviously coming off a prep where he's gone 14, 16, 2000, 2000, 2000. He's had the weight for age runs, slow paces in every one of those. He finally hit a fast pace the other day, and it sucked the sprint out of him for mine. That fast pace is going to emulate, a steady long tempo over a more testing trip here. You see, he travels into the race on the bit as he does. Winks obviously destroys him, and that's no real downside for this race. That's not why I'm potting him. I'm potting him because I just don't think he's looking for further. I don't think he's going to handle the tempo and the distance here like he does those 1600 metre, 2000 metre races where he can just sit on the back of a tempo, out sprint them and put stayers away that are looking for this sort of trip. They're going to catch him over this extra 1200 metres, drawing the sprint out of him, I would imagine. He doesn't stop there, but I can't see why he's favourite over horses that are better suited to these conditions of the race come Tuesday. I think Who Shot the Barman and these runners, the Grand Marshal form line's very, very average. Their runs in a slowly run Metropolitan were very average. They came out and sort of whacked away in a fast run. Moonee Valley Cup, I was sort of warming to the likes of Excess Knowledge. Thought he was going okay, but he even dropped out there at the end of a fast run race, and I doubt that he's looking for further. The one horse that going down the page more that I can entertain is Almandin. He had the more traditional preparation here, 3 lead-ups before he started to hit a bit of form, and what I like about him is that he can settle back off a fast pace. You know that there's going to be tempo here. There's too many horses looking for it with stable mates and alike that they're not going to get a tempo. This is Almandin coming through one off the fence. He handles a strong tempo, he handles a slow tempo, and it's a pretty arrogant win here, even though these horses wouldn't be contenders in this sort of race. You can see that he's going through his gears, he's getting stronger as the line approaches with little pressure. And he just looks a horse on the up. He's got old form around the likes of Protectionist. He beat Protectionist over 2200 metres in a Group 2 in Germany earlier before he had a 2-year break. So he's obviously had issues. He's come back from that. These 3 runs definitely were required to get him up to sort of any sort of race fitness, and he's been kept up to the mark since with a month between runs won't be a problem. So he's a very interesting horse, probably best of the locals, even though it is a big ask, deep into a long preparation off a long prep. Oceanographer and Grey Line come through the Geelong Cup. This race here, they ran at a solid tempo and kept going. It was a good race for that level. They've gone, 3 or 4 lengths above what you'd hope that sort of race to go. So a Group 3 2400 metre race. Key to this race is that Grey Line peaks at 2400. That's about as far as he goes. He's entitled to improve a little bit, obviously, with that run. But out to 3200 is untested, especially in this sort of level of competition. The winner's proven it much further, and he's proven at a high level. And the stablemate Oceanographer's proven probably to that level, but at that distance, he's come out and won well since. So he's franked that form, and I think the horse that he's franked the form of is the leader in Kiwi. If you notice, this is short, sort of 2,000 metres short of where he's done his best work, so 3,200 is no issue for him. He'll just keep whacking away. That second horse was never going past that leader. And Oceanographer's obviously found the line. he comes into like $7, $7.50, when Q is definitely the horse with the stronger pedigree to this point and stronger results. And he's going around at about 25 to 1 mark or something like that. So he's definitely value of the two, and probably somewhere around where both of them should sit, I would imagine. I think Oceanographer should be closer to that 25 to 1 mark than the $8 mark. Not saying he can't win, but he should be longer in the market. If we want to look at that race again, so that he's come out again on Saturday and against a solid tempo. He's run down his back here, second last. This is him coming second wider, so you can see how well this leader looks to be travelling. He's not stopping. He probably as far as he wants 2,500, but this horse is doing something that no one else in the race is, which is the most important part, and proves that he's doing something good, something real, and that's a strong win. So to me, that franks the form of all the Europeans and shows how good they are compared to our runners. These horses run through the line and only get better with further ground. So Oceanographer is a realistic chance, Q is a realistic chance, and this is the only other horse that I wanted to have a look at. I wanted to show his run last year. This is a horse called Secret Number, sat outside the leader here last year. Dandino comes around him. Dandino would run second in a Corfield Cup prior to this. We'll see that Secret Number here in the blue colours kind of gets tightened up here. Gets tightened up badly for room, loses momentum, has to come back to the outside and finds again late to get past the second horse. No disrespect in running second to Dandino, that's a good effort, and you can see he's only coming again there. If we go back quickly to the Just Racing website again, the horse we're looking for, Secret Number. That was the Queen's Cup win. But we can't do it unless we log into the tab account. The replay's worth looking at. It's only a 2,000 metre run, so treated as a barrier trial. It's only run he's had since that run, so that was November 7 last year, and he's only had the one run at 15th of December, leading just into before quarantine. So they've obviously pleased enough with what this horse has done to bring him out. And if he'd had a couple more runs, I'm sure that he could have the form on the board to be very, very competitive in a race of this nature. I think he's a very realistic winning chance, and he's around the 40 to 1 mark, probably better on the totes and around the place before the race. Those gaps are probably going to be against him from a lot of people's point of view looking at form, so he could definitely get out in betting, and he's one I can entertain, Secret Number. So, sort of summing things up from my point of view, I think there's two strong winning hopes in Bondo Beach and Wicklow Brave. I think Heartbreak City's right on their heels, and then dropping off to horses like Karamerotic, Big Orange, then again stepping out to Jamaica, down the thing to Oceanographer, Secret Number, Huey, all around that area just behind, and then place hopes to horses like Almandin, Jamaica possibly a place hope, Hartnell probably you could throw in there for a place. I'll be leaving him out just because of the value that there is in leaving him out, maybe playing him very small as a saver or something like that, and then horses like Secret Number and Kiwi, they're all going in for my placing. So I've done a written response as well with numbers for trifectas and things like that. I'll make sure I put the links in for those sort of things, and hopefully I've shown you a little bit different of an angle at the race, and there does look to be good value this year. So I'll be playing exotics pretty heavily around the locals, because so how much money goes on those horses just because they're Australian horses, names that people know, and sometimes that works out in your favour if you leave those out because there's a value around them. So that's what I'll be doing, and hopefully we have a bit of luck on Tuesday, and it's a tough day betting wise around that race. So hopefully everyone has a bit of luck. Thanks, guys.